Our President Trump has a full plate, and also on the table is prison reform. CBN's Jenna Browder joins us now live from Washington with more on this. You were at the White House covering this roundtable. What can you tell us about the faith community and prison reform?
Yeah, good morning, Ephraim. You know, this is a big deal to the faith community. President Trump, he hosted this roundtable yesterday at the White House. There were a lot of big names there, Paula White, Daryl Scott, and prison reform is such a, it's so important that the faith community be a part of it, because yesterday's meeting was about people inmates re-entering society. And so faith, of course, plays a big part in that. And yesterday they talked about, mental health care, drug addiction, suicide rate, job opportunities, and the difficulties of getting a job once you are let out of prison. So the faith community is certainly a big part in that process.
One of the people you named there in the faith community was Pastor Paula White, and we know that she works very closely with the president. What was her take in being there?
Yeah, after the meeting, it was at about 1:30. My colleague David Brody and I, we host Faith Nation together. We caught up with Paula, and she was very encouraged by what she heard inside that meeting. She, of course, very close to the president. She's perhaps the most influential evangelical in his life. She's his faith advisor, and she just said that what they talked about was really ways to help these inmates once they get out of prison. So whether it's mental health, whether it's suicide, jobs and skills, and just being able to re-enter the workforce. And she mentioned the word mentoring. It's not about helping these people when they're three months out from being let go. It's starting that process immediately once they're incarcerated.
And in terms of
from the faith community, this started for us really at a dinner almost a year ago. We had 40 faith leaders that had a private dinner with the president up in, what I guess would be considered his residence. Yeah. And there were some people sitting at Jared's table, and they said, if every church in America adopted a few prisoners and really worked on we took some of the best practices up, because mentoring, it's not just you can't just, this solves it. It's a very, what I'm going to say, systemic and holistic approach.
Jen, we don't have much time, but she mentioned Jared in that statement. Jared Kushner's been a big part of this.
Yeah, he's been a big part of it. He's really the force behind it. His father, he was imprisoned several years ago. And so that's really kind of, I think, his motivation here is how can we help people who are in prison, not only when they're in prison, but once they're out of prison as well.
All right, Jenna Browder, thank you so much for following this story. And of course, we've got more on this at cbnnews.com.